Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hard Nine Pod. Today is December 18th, 2022. Merry Christmas to all of you, first off, as we are only a week out from the Lord's Day. And the guy giggling across from me with, hey, everybody, look, he's got decorations right there behind him. It's not just a white wall. It's nice to see you. He is literally here down here in the 504. Good to see you from the other room.
Yeah, yeah, long time no see.
Merry Christmas.
I stop. It's a week away. We'll probably have another. Yeah, no, not yet.
What did you just say?
It's not
Whatever you
Christmas
just
yet.
it wasn't even English.
It's not Christmas yet, so I'm not ready to celebrate the holiday.
We're gonna watch a Christmas movie later.
All right, let's get it. Okay, let's get into Cardinals.
First of all, most wonderful time of the year.
Sure. I prefer summer.
I don't like this. I don't like this attitude just because you got fancy lights and garland behind you. I don't
Well, I
like
was
the new
informed that we're not having green bean casserole, so I'm not in the Christmas mood.
green bean casserole is a one day a year that's Thanksgiving.
No, I don't agree.
First of all, like I said, I get deviled eggs once a year and I have to beg for them. They're literally the greatest food of all time.
No, they're not.
They are. They are.
All right.
If you would like to go to the store, if you want to go right up the road to Rouse's, buy 4 cans of green beans, a can of mushroom soup, and some turkey onions, and make them, you're more than welcome to make your own green bean casserole.
No, it's gonna be gross. I'm not doing that.
First of all, I made it. All you have to do is literally open the cans and dump it together. That's literally it. That's literally it.
All right, you want to get the Cardinals? I don't know. That's enough green bean casserole talk for the podcast.
You're the one who brought it up. Just saying. Okay. First off, before we get to baseball, shout out to Argentina and Messi for winning the World Cup. I have watched way more soccer in the last month than I ever had in my entire. Was out till 3 last night. Went to see Anders Osborne at Tipitina's. Got in bed about a little after 3. Got up this morning at 9 to watch the World Cup. I don't know. I'm not sure why, but it was literally maybe the greatest soccer game I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I mean, congrats to Lionel Messi in Argentina. Pretty cool.
So for the U.S., 2026, that's the year. Comes here to North America. We can get a little bit better. We can learn from our Sweet 16 appearance, and I'd like to bring the cup home to America.
Yeah, probably not, but you can always hope. You can always hope that it happens.
Well, Messi's probably done. Ronaldo's done. But that kid Mbappe from France. Oh.
We also lost. We didn't lose to Messi or Ronaldo or Mbappe. So I think in order to start getting prepared for those guys, you have to beat everybody else.
I'm not gonna lie. Outside of Pulisic, those are the only 3 names in soccer I know now.
Neymar.
Nah, don't know him.
Okay, let's move on.
I don't know Neymar.
Garcia Parra. I don't think he's playing.
No. All right. Anyway, just shout out to Argentina. The World Cup is super cool. Qatar seemed like it could have been a nightmare. I don't know. I wasn't there. Wouldn't be there. But I would like to maybe go to a match when it's here because the environment does look electric. It does.
We won't be going. It will outprice us immediately.
That's probably true. But okay. Anyway, it's been nice catching up from the other room. Let's get into it as the winter meetings obviously are over. The Cardinals have made 3 moves so far this year. I mean, I guess you could say they got Fermin, so they've made 4 moves there. That was a move also. And obviously there's some people they've gotten rid of, some people, whatever. But bringing in Wilkin Rodriguez, we've talked about him. Bringing in Zuniga.
No, Zuniga.
Yeah. And then also, obviously, the big signing of Wilson Contreras. Now, if you're on Twitter like we are, by the way, you can follow us on Twitter. The Hard 9 Pod. You can find us there at Caleb Noble 08, at Mike Noble 08. We'd love to have you do that. That would be fun. We enjoy it, although it does piss me off daily because it does seem like Cardinal fans want, if there's a free agent, they think Mo should sign him, no matter who they are. And if they don't sign him, then Mo is not doing his job, and it's another wasted offseason. That's all I can read every day, and I don't understand. Can you explain it to me?
No, I mean, I get it. I get you want the excitement of the offseason. You're bored. There's no games going on. And it's fun to talk about. It's fun when you come on here and say, hey, they just signed Wilson Contreras to the biggest contract an outside free agent's ever signed. That is fun. Like, I enjoy doing that as well. But you got to think of it from a perspective of, one, if the guy isn't a need and he's costing $20 million a year or $15 million, it doesn't make any sense. That's not where you need to put your resources at. Like, I get we see like, oh, well, the Padres just signed Xander Bogaerts and they didn't need a shortstop. Well, yeah, but give it 5 years, you're going to be glad that the Cardinals aren't using that that process, because it's not going to work in the long haul. They've got to win the next couple of years, or it's an absolute failure. And people say, well, we're spoiled here because they're good every year. They're always in it every single year. And then when it comes to recognizing why they're good every year, it's like people don't realize why. They're good every year because they know what they need to get and they go get it, and they don't overextend themselves that will make them horrible 5 years down the road or 3 years down the road. And free agents, as we know, most deals, they don't work out very well. Most of them.
Correct. With that being said, you want to kind of look at some of the, like, since we talked last week, let's take a look around at the free agent frenzy that has been going on, because there have been some notable names, obviously.
A lot of very good baseball players have been signed.
Correct.
Not guys like the Trey Turners that you're gonna spend $300 million on, but a lot of really good baseball players.
Yeah, last time we talked, I think we left off with the Mets signing Nemo and Senga and those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Since then, because last pod we talked about Chris Bassitt, we talked about Noah Syndergaard, where we thought he might go. Bassitt, first one, obviously signs. Thoughts on Chris Bassitt?
One of the most reasonable contracts I think signed this offseason was a 3 years, 60, 61. Was that what it ended up being? Something like that.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah, good deal for the Blue Jays. I mean, that just fortifies their rotation. They needed a guy that's reliable every fifth day. Chris Bassitt, over the last 3 years, has very much been one of the most reliable pitchers in baseball. So it's a really good move for them. I think he's going to fit in very well there, because you can slot him right behind Gausman and Manoah, and that's really good for their rotation. I still think they need maybe one more, because I don't trust Yusei Kikuchi, but the top four in that rotation are very good.
Is Ryu still under contract there?
I believe so, yeah.
So you get him back. You got Gausman, you've got Manoah, you've got Bassitt. Now that's a pretty strong three. But you also have
they lost Stripling.
Barrios.
Yeah, I don't trust him either.
I get it. I'm just saying, when Jose Barrios, who by the way Cardinal fans were clamoring for 2 years ago, deservedly so, has had rocky. Like, he is at one big roller coaster. But when he's your number 4 or your number 5, and you got Ryu at the back, who we've seen when Ryu is healthy, very successful pitcher at the big league level. I think that helps Toronto quite a bit. The Kiermaier thing's still kind of odd to me for the underneath that deal, but he's going to play a great center field for them. He's going to hit ninth, I assume. But still, it still just makes it odd to me that you trade Teoscar. Yeah, that the guy who hits right in the middle of your order like every day. I don't know how you fill that production. Right, I just don't know how you do it, because you're not going to get it from Kevin Kiermaier.
That to me is a prime example of why you don't trade the guy you're trying to replace before you've replaced him.
Yeah.
Like it was last year when we talked about the Yankees. It ended up working out because Bader was great in the postseason, but they traded Monty because they thought they had a deal with Pablo Lopez. Right. They didn't, and now you don't have Monty, and you have a center fielder that at the time was on the shelf. So you kind of had, I think they thought they were going to be able to get a Nemo or trade for somebody would become available. And I just don't think it worked out that way. And now they don't have Teoscar Hernandez. And they don't have really anyone in the outfield. I mean, their outfield is still fine. Like Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is good. Springer is obviously good. Kiermaier, I mean, he is what he is. But I don't know how you trade 30 home run, 850 OPS power in the middle of your order for a reliever. I get they're good, but I just don't get how you do that.
Do you think that GMs do that because they think it hurts their leverage? Like, if we have the guy, then they know we have to trade a guy. But if I'm the GM, I'm thinking, well, we don't have to trade him.
Well, at the very least, you could have a deal set ready, and you say, "Hey, wait," and then we're going to make this deal. Like, there are ways to manipulate it. But yeah, that is something. But At the same time as Teoscar Hernandez, you know that if he's on your team, you'll find a place for him to play. So you say, hey, if you want him, you got to give me this. It's Teoscar
Yeah, that's
Hernandez.
fair.
We know how good he is. Like, I don't care what you think. Like, we know he's good. So, I mean, sure, but I don't know how much of a factor that plays in. But I'm also not in general manager discussions, so I honestly don't know.
No. I'm just always trying to like get into their brain and see how it is they think. And
Every winter
also,
meetings, I just wish I could be a fly on the wall of all those conversations.
yeah, hopefully we get there one year and we can do a pod from there. That'd be super fun.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. In very Cleveland Guardians like fashion, they go out and sign Mike Zunino. Nobody talked about it. I think it's a sneaky move. When Mike Zunino is healthy, he produces. He's always going to be a good. He's always going to be good behind the plate. He's going to give you everything. I mean, Cleveland needed a catcher. There was no doubt about it. They didn't get. I assumed the Murphy. That's we're going to talk about that in a minute anyway. But I assume they wanted massive prospects from the Indians, like they wanted from the Cardinals.
Guardians.
And well, that's what I mean. Sorry, they wanted Quan. I heard that's one of the rumors. And then other what are we doing here?
Well, what they
anyway,
got,
so
I would say that I don't know.
Good move. Sneaky good move for the Guardians.
I like it for one reason, and my reasoning is that he has power. They need power.
Yep.
33 home runs in 2021. I am worried I think he had thoracic outlet syndrome last year. Is that right? Massive injury that can really make his defense go down. But I like the move. They should have aimed for higher. He did, yeah. He had it last year. That's why he was out for most of the year. I mean, it's a good move. It's just I do think they should have aimed higher.
But we don't know that
someone else.
I think they did. I think they went after Sean Murphy.
I would have liked Omar Narvaez more for them.
Huh? Okay.
I would have liked him more. I would have liked Vasquez more. I would have liked. I mean, I don't know, William Contreras. Why weren't they in on that? We'll talk about him later. But you tell me they couldn't have gotten in and thrown in a higher prospect than the Brewers did. So that's something that I wish they would have kind of aimed a little bit higher. But he's going to be good for them if he's healthy.
Right. And also a very Giants move for all of you fantasy players like we are. Go get Ross Stripling this year because
I didn't even know that happened.
Went from Toronto. San Francisco signs him to a very good deal. He is going to go there and probably put up a sub-3 ERA, and he'll have career highs in almost everything.
Well, he had a great year last year at 3.01.
He's a very good pitcher, like another Dodger guy who's been consistent but has never landed a home. And I don't know if he signed. Did he sign a 2-year deal? So for 2 years he'll be great in San Francisco. Book it. Get him in fantasy.
I mean, we can throw him in there with Manaya. It's around the same conversation, right? Yeah. So they signed those two. That's good rotational depth. If you're a pitcher, you should be clamoring to get there and see how they can make you better, just for your next deal. So good for both of those guys. I think they're both really good professional pitchers that are going to give you a good outing every fifth day. So good moves for them.
Boxberger goes to the Cubs. Always depth in the rotation. Boxberger's always pretty good. That's a good arm.
Depth in the bullpen, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Bullpen.
Yeah, he's good. I kind of wish the Cardinals would have been in on that for that price, but it is what it is. That's one where I'm like, oh, you could have paid him that.
We talked about Syndergaard. He lands with the Dodgers. Another guy, if I'm a fantasy owner, I'm going to get Noah Syndergaard this year.
That's interesting. I like that. I like that move for them.
I do too. We saw it with Tyler Anderson. We saw it with Andrew Heaney. We've seen it with guys throughout the years. Right?
All the Angel guys, huh?
I mean, Syndergaard is going to go there and probably, if he's healthy, which that's always the question, but that's a question you can ask with any pitcher. He's going to be their number 5 starter, I would assume.
Yeah, I think there are people, Cardinal fans, mad we didn't get him. Don't know why, but I don't know. I don't know what to expect from Syndergaard. He wasn't great last year. He had around a 4 ERA with a 1.25 WHIP. Not incredible, but I mean, I think there's definitely something in him you can unlock. Because when he was Thor and he was great, I mean, you could see he was one of the best pitchers in baseball. So if they can unlock that again, I mean, you're getting an ace. But I don't know how likely that is, but he's going to be good for him probably.
Just a few other things here to get to before we get to the two big ones, right? The two big ones. I kind of want to talk about those last. The guy you had talked about, I don't know if you talked about it on here or if you just brought it up to me, but the Tigers land Michael Lorenzen. Again, another serviceable arm. Gives them a lot of depth. He can come out of the pen. He can throw.
He's starting. They said
start. Yeah, there you go. He gives you. He's one of those guys that I think
$9 million, right? Why?
Huh?
Why $9 million?
Yep. Don't know.
I mean, some of these contracts are wild.
Shout out to these guys, man. To be a
And
big
we
football
also need
player
to
right
mention
now.
Michael Brantley after this. But
Yeah, well, we were going to get to that.
I thought you said the two big ones.
Yeah, but we got a few more to go through.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry, I spoiled it. I thought you said this was the last one before the big one.
We get you under the Christmas lights and you fucking lose your mind.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's a good deal. I mean, it's good for him, I think. Really good. One, he's getting paid a lot of money. And two, if he goes out there and he shoves in Detroit, a very pitcher-friendly ballpark, not a great division, so a lot of teams are going to be playing aren't great offensively. He could do it. I mean, he's still got stuff, man. He's jacked. He's one of the most jacked players in baseball. He throws hard. Yeah, I like it. I like it for both of them.
A team that I kind of wanted to hit on a little bit more, and we don't have to really get into it. I've been shocked that the Orioles have not been as eager. Is that the word I'm looking for? As
involved,
aggressive. They go out and they get Adam Frazier. That Adam Frazier's a really good baseball player. He's a former All-Star. He's a good piece. Once he left Pittsburgh, he's never really been the same. He didn't put up big numbers in San Diego. He struggled in Seattle. Maybe he can refine it there in Baltimore. But a team that was this, literally, this close to making the playoffs in a year that nobody saw it coming. Everybody's like, oh, they were like Seattle the year before. They're a year away. I think you said that on here. And you've got the pieces there. They've done literally nothing of substance except going out and now adding Adam Frazier
and Kyle Gibson.
Sorry, my apologies to Kyle Gibson. You're right.
They should have been all in on Carlos Rodon, in my opinion. But I mean, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, the shortstops right now, they could use a shortstop. They have Henderson, they can play there. They have Mateo, they like. They have Jackson Holiday, they just drafted. But I don't know. I was hoping they were going to make a splash. They need to, but maybe there's just no one that they thought they wanted to commit to long term, and maybe they're looking ahead to next year. You just never know. But you would think coming off of that great season that they had, with Adley kind of cementing himself as a top 5 catcher in baseball, you would think they would have gone out there and done something, but kind of disappointing. Like Adam Frazier's a good player. He's better than Rougned Odor, who they had going out there last year.
First of all, stop. Like Odor had a hell of a year.
He did not.
He did.
He did not have a hell of a year. What do you think is a hell of a year?
Let's talk about Odor's numbers. He had
a 79 OPS plus.
What was his OPS?
632. He was horrible.
Oh, jeez. Okay, my apologies to.
He's not good. He's horrible. He's been bad for years.
Stats.
He's a 6 career WAR. He's not a good player. And
remember when he was like the guy coming up too.
I mean, he had some years where he was dropping bombs.
My apologies to former Texas Rangers. You know who I was thinking about?
Who?
Jurickson Profar.
Well, he's a good player, but he was never on the Orioles.
Wrong guy. Wrong old Texas Ranger. But either way, I just remember watching Odor down the stretch hit some big home runs for them. So not a hell of a year. But yes, you're Adam Frazier.
More like a hell year. It was really bad.
Also was very wrong when I said let's get to the 2 big ones. We got a bunch of big ones to get to, so let's go through just the smaller ones right now. My apologies here on this. Also, Drew Smiley goes to the Cubs. Anything you got there?
No,
agreed. All right, now let's kind of work backwards to the trade that I want to get to. Today, Michael Brantley signs $12 million with the Astros. I'm glad. Like, you were in on one Brantley here. You were one of those guys that I've heard a lot, talk about that. I would have loved him here. I don't know. It just creates more of a logjam, I think, if you sign him. Not that I'm upset by that, but it just raises more questions. But I'm really glad Michael Brantley went back to Houston. He, last year hurt. The guy can hit. He falls out of bed hitting. Everybody who's ever played with him loves this dude. Like, loves him.
His nickname's Uncle. His nickname's Uncle Mike and Dr. Smooth. He's like the sickest human of all time.
Follows him around like Lars follows Nolan around. I love that shit. So I'm glad that he's back with. I'm glad he's back with Houston.
Yeah. Everyone wants to talk about the Mets, the Padres, the Phillies for good reason. They made some massive moves for great players. They're not even close to the Houston Astros. Not even in the same world. Lineup wise, rotation wise, bullpen wise, not close to any of the 3. They are the best team in baseball again. And if there aren't some massive surprises, I would be shocked if they're not back in the World Series next year.
I think I agree with that.
Like they've gotten better. They've gotten better, man.
But I can't disagree with that. I mean,
They won a World Series. They signed Michael Brantley, who bats 300, rolls out of bed batting 300. They have Jose Abreu, who rolls out of bed driving in 100 RBIs. And then they let Verlander go when you look at their rotation, and it's still probably the best in baseball.
You really went in with the rolls out of bed like metaphor there.
That's what. Well, those two are like two guys where you hear that where they roll out of bed, and they just hit. Those are the two guys you probably think of because that's just what they do every single year. Like
They did lose Justin Verlander, the Cy Young Award winner.
and that's what my point is. But nobody cares because it doesn't matter because they have Framber Valdez, Javier. You know, McCullers is going to be better. And they have this Hunter Brown kid who throws 100.
Garcia?
I mean, yeah. You just keep going. There's more.
Right.
They're the best team in baseball, and that's a great move. It lengthens their lineup out. They might be betting Jeremy Pena 7th.
I know. I know. Remember
Crazy.
though, but you know what? It's wild. Remember when Mike Napoli and the Rangers played? Well, you remember played the Cardinals in the World Series. Napoli was hitting like 7th. He had like 30 bombs, I think, that year, and that was like the deepest lineup I had ever. I mean, you had Beltray, you had Hamilton, you had Elvis Andrews, who was in the prime of his career. You had Kinsler? Was Kinsler
Nelson
on
Cruz?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nelson Cruz. I mean, that team was just
Murphy,
fucking loaded.
Michael Young.
Josh Hamilton was Josh Hamilton.
Yes, you already said him.
Yeah. I mean, that
you forgot Michael Young, who was like the best of all of them at that point.
Daniel Murphy. It was unbelievable. And that's when you look at the Astros, you kind of feel the same way. JD Martinez, sneaky move for the Dodgers. I think so.
He declined rapidly last year. Maybe it's from an injury. I don't know. His power was gone. His second half was horrible. But he's going to the Dodgers. They obviously saw something in him. I guess this could bring up a Red Sox question mark. Is there a Red Sox we're going to talk about later?
There could be.
Justin Turner?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll talk about them when that happens.
We'll talk about that now. They go sign Justin Turner.
Yeah, okay, good move. I love JD Martinez. He's a great hitter. Justin Turner to the Red Sox. What are the Red Sox doing? Justin Turner's a good player.
2 years
He's
in a row.
DH.
They don't know.
They gave him that $8 million this year and has a $15 million player option at 40 years old. I'm going to go ahead and assume he takes it. So you're paying him $15 million next year. Well, why? Just pay them. You should just pay the money for Xander, dude.
So what are they going to do? Is he just going to DH? Is that what he's going to do?
I mean, unless they're going to trade Rafael Devers, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Could he play? Rafael Devers play second base here?
I've been saying that for weeks. I don't care if he doesn't field one ball.
What about right field? Devers could play right field, left field, center field.
He could DH. I don't give a fuck. Go get him if he's available.
Right.
That's a generational player right there. He's so good.
And what was the next one I want to get to, hot button issue for a lot of people. It's so wild. I love this dude. Like, I absolutely love him. I wish he would have stayed in Atlanta, just like Freddie Free. He just seems to get it. Like when you're that fucking good at everything you've ever done, you go to Vandy, you win a national title at Vandy, you're the number 1 pick overall, then you're quickly traded, right? That very bizarre trade. Diamondbacks to Braves. You come up kind of slow start, but then what he has done in the postseason the last 2 years, really, really good. I mean, I think I read that he is number 1 at hitting fastballs above 97 miles per hour. Dansby Swanson is a hot button topic for some reason. I know we didn't really necessarily want him here. I know that when you look at the sheer numbers, right? When you just look at the statistics, it's like he's an above league average player who is older, who plays great defense. Like, he's what's Dansby, 28, 29? Older, that's a terrible thing to say.
29.
Yeah. He goes to the Cubs. I think it's a good move for the Cubs. I really, really do. His future wife, I don't think they're married yet, plays soccer in Chicago. I think he is going to be the new face of the franchise, to be honest with you. I think that you're going to see him on every billboard. Do you remember when we were in Chicago when we were at the Water Tower Mall and that massive mural of Chris Bryant, that's going to be Dansby Swanson in Chicago. So shout out to him. He got paid a shit ton of money. But it was one of those things where with the Cardinals, the fit wasn't there. I know a lot of people would have loved to have seen it. I think more because it would have been a big splash. I'm geeked for Dansby, but as a kid who grew up in Georgia, sentimentalism, I really wanted him to stay with Atlanta. That agent does not like the Braves. That's all I know. Same agent as Freddie Free.
You were positive about it, so I'm going to do the other thing. It was not a good deal. It was a good deal for him.
That's what I meant.
You said that you think it was a good deal for him as well. He's not good enough to be a face of a franchise. He's not. He's not. He's a 95 career OPS plus. He's a below average hitter in his career. He's not. And what they needed a guy to change the direction of their team quickly. They didn't get that. They got a more powerful Nico Horner. That's what they got.
Well, they're going to Nico's. I mean, no, like, come on.
They did. They did. That's what they got production wise. That's what he brings.
Okay, I just feel like people slight. I've said it before.
But slight what, Dad?
I
He's
understand
barely
that
above
people love the
average.
back of the base. Hold on, I understand that people love the back of a baseball card. I really do. But he does so many things well. Like he steals bases. He can hit for power. The power's starting to come. I know he's 29. That's not ancient in baseball. All right. We just signed a 31-year-old catcher. It's not ancient. Okay. He's going to play great defense there. He's a
For how long though?
we
He has the
don't
worst
know.
arm strength at shortstop in baseball.
We have no idea. He does.
I know he has the worst arm strength at shortstop in baseball. I know that.
Well, does he get the guys out at first?
He does now at the age of 29.
We'll
When
see.
he can make up for it with his speed.
I could be wrong. I think that's
Okay, I don't want to hate on Dan. Danby's a good baseball player.
You are. I don't understand. It's Christmas time, and for some reason,
I think I think the Cubs wanted to spend money, and in pure Cubs fashion, they spent it on the wrong guy. They just did. He was the fourth out of four options. They spent it on the fourth option. Two, it seems to me like a Jason Hayward contract waiting to happen. The guy has peaked right now. He peaked last year. That was his best year he's ever had. 770 OPS. I mean,
I get it.
That's people want to shit on Dylan Carlson. His rookie year was a higher OPS than that in Busch Stadium, not in Atlanta, which is one of the most hitter-friendly ballparks in all of baseball. He's a good player. He is not a $25 million player. He's not. I mean, he and I hate to say that. I don't like being like that because he's a really good player and he seems like a great dude. He's not what they needed. What they needed was a generational guy to come bring free agents there, to come turn it around quickly, to bat third for you every day. And when you look at it on the surface, they replaced Wilson Contreras, who was their best hitter, with a guy who's not as good of a hitter. And they lost that guy that was a better hitter to the rival and the best team in the division.
Hey, I'm like I said, I just view Dansby Swanson different than a lot of other people. What you said is not wrong. It's not wrong. I just think he does so many things well, and when the lights shine brightest, he really seems to rise to the top.
Sure.
If we're gonna use all your rolls out of bed cliches, let's go ahead and stick to the.
He
cliches.
does. That's true. Like, when are the Brights going to be light in Chicago when they're 70 and 92 every year?
That's a valid question. So I don't know. But I'm happy for him for getting paid. I wish he would have stayed in Atlanta. He seemed made to be down there. You see him, he's wearing outcast stuff, like he's full Atlanta in. But I understand.
You know where Dansby is great? Dansby is great when he does his role and does it very well, and a lineup of other guys that can do more than he can, like Austin Riley,
which I think
like
is
Acuna.
And I think,
but if he's going to be batting second or third for you I guess he batted second in Atlanta. But when he's going to have to be the guy that bops for you. Like his run to the World Series, he was batting seventh or eighth the whole time.
Correct.
If he's gonna have to be the guy that's bopping for you in the middle order, like he's just not that guy, and that's not bad. He's a very valuable baseball player, but he's not the guy that they needed to turn around their rebuild. Right. I don't think.
Another guy that Twitter was clamoring for, Andrew Benintendi, ends up with the White Sox. White Sox needed an outfielder. Benintendi coming off one of his best years. Believe it, he's only 29. For some reason, thought Andrew Benintendi been around for 25 years. It felt like
been around for a while.
Not a bad move for either side. I think. I mean, I think if we're gonna fall in line with Dansby, Benintendi is like kind of that guy. But great defender. He's gonna hit. I don't know where they'll hit him in that lineup. I mean, it's gonna be intriguing to see what Chicago does. That's one of their first big moves here this offseason is going to get. Dansby Swanson, Andrew Benintendi.
Yeah. He is similar. He's only making 15 a year for 4 years, though, not $177 million. He's a good player, really good player. Not going to provide power. He's going to hit for average. Sorry, he's going to be one of the best defensive left fielders in baseball. He makes them better. Does that really do much for them in terms of how good are they going to be? I don't know if it changes their ceiling or anything like that. For me, probably projecting him at around a 500 team as of right now. I don't know if he changes that for them, but he is. It's a good move. I mean, he's a good player. I was kind of hoping he was going to go to a team that, he was the piece that kind of completes their lineup, not a team where he kind of just is another piece in a lineup that you really don't know what you have, which is kind of where Chicago's.
Right. Yeah, because Chicago's so weird. They have so much fucking talent on that roster.
They lost to Brayu.
Yeah,
the best player.
I get it, but you still. I mean, you're looking at we saw Andrew Vaughn become a really good player last year. You've got Tim Anderson, you've got Moncada, you've got Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez. Obviously, Moncada and Jimenez. There's a lot of question marks there. You still have Grandal. Like, that's still a very solid roster. Who am I missing? The third baseman from CBC?
That's Moncada. Moncada's the third baseman.
Okay, who was the
Gavin
kid from?
Sheets
No.
or Jake Berger.
Berger, kid from CBC,
They have
local
both
kid.
those guys.
Yeah. So I mean, you still have Lance Lynn.
They have a
You
good
still
bullpen.
have Giolito, huh?
They have a good bullpen.
Yeah. Like it's just maybe the new managers. I mean, we've talked
I
about
don't
that on
know.
here a lot.
I mean, Tim Anderson's going to be a free agent after this year. Abreu, their heart and soul, their team, it seemed like. And I was wrong. He's not the best player on the team. Robert is the best player on the team.
Correct.
Was.
Yeah.
But he's kind of – and then Robert's injured all the time. Eloy's injured all the time. Moncada, questions about his kind of work ethic and have been circling around. I don't know the legitimacy of any of those, but I know that he hasn't performed recently.
Correct.
I know
Grandal's
Grandal's on the downturn.
On paper, it seems like that team should fucking roll.
And Yasmani Grandal was horrible last year, man. Horrible.
He really was.
I don't know. I don't know where they go. It almost seems like it was a very brief window of success, but maybe they'll turn it around. I just don't see it. I think they're going to be a third place team.
To be fair, the Guardians are the class of the AL Central now. I think they've overtaken that reign, but that is still a winnable division if the parts click. If the sum of the parts become the whole, which I think has been the problem there. I think you got a lot of parts you don't have, which is weird because the year before it seemed like, oh, here come the White Sox. You know what I mean? They're playing it at Dyersburg at the Field of Dreams. You know, you're seeing Tim Anderson break out, become this guy. We're seeing all of that, and then all of a sudden last year it just kind of collapsed. Maybe around a Tony La Russa, another DUI. Who knows?
I think they miscalculated how much Jose Abreu meant to that team, and I think they're going to pay for it dearly.
They could. I think that's a valid point. In very Twins fashion, they go out and they sign Joey Gallo. I hope Joey Gallo goes up there and crushes. He'll hit 220, and I hope he hits 30 to 40 home runs. That ballpark is. I mean, we've seen the home runs. We saw the Twins break the record. You know, he's going to hit a lot of home runs there, I believe.
He's a good fit. He's a good fit in that lineup. We'll talk about the guys they lost later, but they've gotten worse. So talk about Central again. Man, the middle of America, they need to get their shit together and have better baseball teams. Please. They have no pitching either.
I know.
I mean, no offense to Sonny Gray and Kenta Maeda, and Joe Ryan. I mean, they've got some names, but they're not very good.
Yeah.
Joey Gallo's not very good anymore.
Hopefully Buxton can stay healthy, you know.
He's great. Feel bad for him.
One of our favorite players here on the pod. Okay, let's get to the three big ones, and then we'll get to the Cardinals. We don't have as much to talk about the Cardinals this time, so we kind of wanted to get into some of the other teams as well. Obviously, the number one guy, the Cardinals Twitter, rightfully so, was clamoring for. But a week ago, I told you, and not that I'm not going to be the guy, and I'm not going to be you that hurts myself patting me on the back here, but I did not see a signing Carlos Rodon or Chris Bassitt. You know, I know you had said you thought maybe – I just didn't see it. It didn't make sense. Not that I was against it, right? And not that when I say it doesn't make sense, when I was looking at the makeup of the team right now, it just didn't make sense unless there is a trade looming, okay? Rodon, 6 years, $162 million. Did he overplay his hand at 7-2-10? But he's still the Yankees, 6 years, $162. I personally would not give a pitcher. I've been on record saying that. Probably more than 3-year deal. That's kind of where I would go. But shout out to Carlos Rodon. He deserves every fucking penny he got. He's been incredible, especially last year. We'll see how he is in Yankee Stadium.
Like 6 years, 162, a lot of money, obviously. That might be the only deal where he got less than I thought he was going to get, where a player got less than what I thought. Great deal for him. I think if you would have told him 2 years ago that today he would have a 6-year, $162 million contract to go play in New York, he probably would not have believed you. Because he had injuries, he got DFA, he had a bunch of stuff going on. So happy for him. He seems like a great guy. Great for the Yankees rotation. Probably the best in baseball right now on paper as it stands. I mean, having Frankie Montas as your 5 is it's it. Who?
I think Houston's is better.
There's an argument. I don't know, man. When you go down, it's really deep and it has potential to be the best. We can say that.
It does. But I still here's the thing, right? You've got Cole and Rodon right off the bat. That's fucking incredible. You know, but again, we know that we'll see Garrett Cole blow up multiple times, right? We'll see that. That's going to happen. But I still think there's a lot of questions that remain around Nestor Cortez. I think
that's not really fair. Like, he's been great.
Well, 1 year, dude. 1 year.
2 years. 2 years.
He wasn't great.
He was really good in 2021.
What? Talk to me about what? I
He had
don't
a
remember this.
1.07 whip and a 3.7 ERA. That's Garrett Cole numbers.
3.7 ERA is not Garrett Cole numbers, is it?
What did Garrett Cole have this year?
Well, I don't know.
3.5?
That's a good question. I thought it was less than that. But either way,
3.5.
a lot of questions. I'm still going to put question mark next to no. I love him, but I'm going to put question mark there. There's
So
always
put that
a
into
question.
perspective, Dad. 2021, he had a 1.48 ERA plus.
Yeah, that's good. That's better than what
50%
I thought.
above average. I think
Yeah.
he's only 27 too. I think he deserves.
How many games did he start in 21?
Oh wait, hold on. Sorry, I was looking at FIP. He had a 2.9 ERA in 2021.
How many games did he start that year?
22.
Okay.
So he's had a 2.9 ERA and a 2.44 ERA.
Yeah,
I don't think
okay,
you can
fair.
question him anymore.
That's bad. I guess I don't remember those 21 numbers like I should.
He's the best 3 in the league.
And then Frankie Montas, yeah.
And Luis Severino. That's a really good 5.
3, 4, 5. A lot of questions.
No, 4 or 5.
Mm.
What's he have to do? I mean, he's been great for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's Rodon too.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, when are you gonna start believing in the guy? Is it because he has a mustache?
Speaking from one who has
Is it because he has a
on their
mustache
face.
and then because he does a little funky leg twerk that you're questioning him?
I love Nasty Nestor. He's
No,
a
you
great
don't. You
dude.
called him bad, and he's been one of the best
I
pitchers in baseball.
First of all, did not call him bad. I said there's question marks there. That's all I'm saying. You're talking about a guy again who this is like the third reclamation project. I'm just saying that. Hey, I hope he's great again. That's a great story.
I mean, he went 2.9 and a 2.44, Dad. All-star. Shoved in the postseason this year. What do you want from the guy?
Jeez. Fucking.
Well, I'm just saying, what do you want from him?
President of the Nestor Cortez
I'm not even
fan
that big of
club
a
here.
Cortez fan, but he's been great for 2 years. You got to give him the credit. Once he's bad, we can talk about that. But until that happens, I'm not going to say he's not.
First of all, never said he was
You
bad.
said there's questions around him. There aren't. He's been good for
record, please. I never said
okay,
that.
here's what I'll say. There were there were questions around him last year, and then he came out and was better. So what are the questions?
Okay.
You just answered
all right.
all.
Okay. From a guy who kept saying the question marks around Carlos Rodon. But I can't say that.
Those are injury questions. Those aren't performance questions for me. He's proved that twice.
Well, hasn't Cortez had injury issues in his career? Yes.
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
How many starts did he make this year?
28.
Okay. So he missed 4 starts?
He threw 158 innings. They were limiting their pitchers because they were up by 15 games in the division almost the whole year.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to stick by my thought. Okay, let's move on. We spent too much time on Nestor Cortez.
I think that's kind of BS is what I think.
I'm not, first of all, I'm simply saying there are question marks there. I
don't
think Yankees
he
fans.
answered all the questions.
No question marks. Nestor Cortez, no question marks.
If he goes out and gets lit up 5 times at the start of the year, then there's question marks. But as of right now, today, he's been great for 2 years.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
Okay. Oh, okay. All
right.
Giants go get their guy that we kind of said we thought that's where he would end up. Carlos Correa goes to the Giants. Another 13-year deal. I don't even remember what the money was.
$350.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to the Giants. We said they were going to spend money. They have money. They were going to spend it. I think Carlos Correa is a great fit in San Francisco. He now becomes the face of that franchise.
Yep.
I mean, good. First of all, shout out to Carlos. Guy's 27, just turned 28. We're talking about a generational guy. He's already has a better WAR at this age than Bryce Harper did. Granted, he plays shortstop. It's hard to evaluate sometimes right fielders with WAR. However, I think it's a great that he was my number 1 free agent on the market. I know everybody said Judge. I know people said Rodon. I know people said Verlander. I know people said DeGrom. To me, it was Carlos Correa because he was 27 years old. It was. I mean, Turner, love Trey Turner. Carlos Correa, 27, 28. What he can do between power, between drive-in runs, between score runs, between play defense. He can steal you a base if need be. He just does it all. He is legitimately a 5-tool player.
He's one of the best players in baseball, in my opinion.
Correct.
Maybe even underrated at this point because people kind of, 1, didn't watch him in Minnesota, and 2, don't like him. So I think he's become underrated.
Yes.
I think it's a great move for them. 13 years is a long, long time. He's not going to be good for that whole contract. I said that with confidence. He's going to be bad at some point. But if you get a good 7 to 8 years out of him, and maybe a ring, maybe 2, that's what you want. That's the guy you go get if you want to turn around a retool. The Giants needed a retool. They had some pieces falling apart. Brandon Crawford, great year in 2021. Kind of went back to where he was prior to that last year. They needed a guy that could turn that around quickly and make San Francisco a destination again. There are going to be guys that want to go and play for a team
Correct.
that has Carlos Correa on it. There will be. So it's great for them. They needed a guy. They said they're going to spend money, and they did it. I don't know how the contract's going to work out, but that's a problem. By the time, what will that be, 2035 when that deal's done, 2036? Who knows? The superstars might be getting paid $60 million, and that
Right.
27 you're giving him isn't going to matter at all. So it's a great deal.
I agree. I think a really solid move. I think a lot of guys want to play for Gabe Kapler too. I think the whole myth around Gabe Kapler really went away quickly when he got to San Francisco. Seems like the guys really not genuinely like him. I love that he always has a reason for every move that he makes, and he informs. He's a fantastic communicator. I think that's solid move. Now, okay. With that being said, I still think the Giants are the third best team in the league, in the West, maybe the fourth, because I think the Diamondbacks are really fucking good. I really do.
I'd put them at fourth.
Yeah, I mean that's so Correa, you lose Rodon, you add Correa, yeah, great, but I just don't know what else you have around him right now.
They need to go get like a Conforto. They got Haniger too. They need to go get a Conforto. A Conforto would be good for them to take a flyer on him, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so let's talk about the trade. We don't have to go. I feel like we spent a lot of time on this already, but that's kind of what we wanted to do is kind of wrap up before Christmas the free agent stuff. Anyway, we've hit a lot on the Cardinals. We've got a few other things we want to hit to with them, but the deal that gave everybody a fucking headache, like literally gave every baseball fan a headache, especially Cardinal fans. When now again, let me say this. I feel like I always have to say this to people. Not that they need to know it, but maybe I need to hear myself say it. Always question what you're hearing. We hear the names Dylan Carlson. We hear the names that they wanted Graceffo, that they wanted Carlson, they wanted
Nootbaar.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, yes, somebody might have told you that or them that. We don't know if that's what was. We don't know. Mo's not said it. Mo's never going to say it. So we don't know. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not calling it fugazi, but I do think it's always smart to question when you hear something like that come out after the fact. All right. So we don't know. But what we do know is that Sean Murphy is going to be in Atlanta. We do know the guy that honestly here is where I will give you credit. Don't hurt yourself, patting yourself on the back, but I will give you credit. You were the first person I heard bring up the fact that Atlanta might trade William Contreras. To me, 24-year-old dude who had a monster year this year and did a little bit of everything for them. I was shocked. That's a great move for the Brewers. That is a great, I can't overstate that. That is a great move for the Brewers to get him. Do you agree?
Yeah, they should have even been involved. This is the dumbest trade I've ever seen in my life. They had a lot of things they could have addressed, shortstop being one of them, and they went out and did something that they didn't need to do. I don't really like it for them. I think Sean Murphy's going to be good for them. I do. I don't understand why you aren't okay with your 24-year-old power hitter and your veteran that everybody loves, Travis d'Arnaud, and that being your tandem.
They love Travis d'Arnaud. They said he's not going anywhere.
Then that still makes it dumber, right? If they love him.
I get it.
Okay, here's what I'll say.
Here's my question too. Let me ask you this, okay? In my mind, and maybe this is the least common denominator, so it's probably not even a thing. Go sign Dansby back and keep William Contreras. I know Sean Murphy's cheap. I get it. Atlanta's got the fucking money. And now, that to me would have been the move. I think they love the idea of Arcia or Grissom playing shortstop, and they're fine with that. And now they saved a bunch of money. If we're going to be honest, they saved a bunch of money, but I don't get the Contreras thing. It blew my mind. I was shocked when I saw what happened.
I told you it was going to happen before it happened. I texted you and said Contreras is going to the Brewers. So I said that to you. But
there it is.
I did. I wasn't shocked. I knew it was happening. But here's what bothered me. One, like Murphy's a really good player. It just seems to me like they're trying to outsmart people when you don't really need to. I think here's what's confusing. First off, Oakland F for the trade. F. Horrible.
Horrible. I can't say that.
I do know. I do know. Didn't get one prospect in the top 100. Horrible trade. Yeah. Absolutely horrible. Why were you asking for Nootbaar and Donovan?
Asking from the Cardinals.
Yeah, horrible. They lost all their leverage because they overextended. If they would have asked for a reasonable offer, Gorman and something maybe, they probably would have got that, and it would be a much better trade for them.
Okay, now let me ask you something.
Hold on, I have another point.
Okay, sorry.
Braves, you got a really good player. You did. Sean Murphy's really good. I think it was unnecessary. but whatever. Fine. It's a good. You got a good player to add to your good lineup. Fine. I'll move on. Brewers, I don't even know how they got in this thing. It's like they just like popped up and said, "We'll take William Contreras." They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, so give us your like 15th ranked prospect."
And
for him."
Manny Pena.
Oh, okay. Why did the Athletics not just? They know Manny Pena came from the Braves. Why did the
Oh, that's
Athletic?
right.
They gave up. They gave up one player, and the Brewers got 3 players back, including the best player in the trade. Maybe it's like I don't know how the Brewers won the Sean Murphy deal and didn't get Sean Murphy.
Very, very, very good point. Now,
Like,
let me ask you
why?
something.
Hold on one second. Before I want to ask
Oh
you
my
why.
God. It's
Why the
always hold
Athletics?
on 1 second with you.
Well, yeah, because you always interrupt me. Why the Athletics not just get William Contreras?
I don't know.
Why don't you just get William Contreras? Say Brewers, fuck off. We don't need you in here. Get
It
William
does seem
Contreras
like
back, and then what am I missing?
I don't know. I
They
don't
wanted Nootbaar and Donovan, but they didn't want William Contreras.
It was Donovan. That's who it was. That's right.
Like
So
I would
now,
have been. The Cardinals should have been involved. Fuck, give him your 15th
this
prospect and
brings
bring him in as
up 3
DH.
points. This brings up 3 points. One, I don't want to judge the prospects because we don't know. Like we just don't know.
I can judge where they're ranked and say they should have gotten more.
I get it, but we still don't know. Like we don't know. And again, we always talk about who values who. Like that's why you can't put the shit in that dumbass calculator that people still continue to fucking use. Somebody take that website down from these people. These people cannot stop using it. So, but 2, are we overvaluing, or do the Cardinals overvalue guys like Donovan, Nootbaar, and Carlson? So what I mean by that is maybe the way we see, again, it goes back to value. So maybe overvaluing is not even the point, not even the right word there. But do people around the league view them like the Cardinals do? Because maybe it wasn't the A's asking for too much. Maybe it was the A's don't value Brendan Donovan and Lars Nootbaar like we see those guys. Does that make sense? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Teams always value their players more. That's always the thing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, because to me, the fact that they asked for Murphy and Nootbaar, Nootbaar and Donovan and Graceffo for Murphy was crazy because they value Sean Murphy so much.
Right.
So that's just how it is. So yeah, they do value their players too much. The Cardinals even have admitted that they value their players too much because it's just the way that you are. You see these guys grow, you draft them, you dream of what they can be, and when they reach high, like Nootbaar, when they reach, oh, this guy's becoming more than I ever thought he could be. You don't want to let that go. Like, why would you?
I just wonder if other scouting departments around the league view Donovan and Nootbaar like the A's do. Like, so
Can I
guess what I'm
can I
getting
tell
at is,
you? Can I
are
tell you
we
something?
setting ourselves up for mediocrity from some of our guys that we
No.
think for 1 or 2 years have been great? Like, do you? I'm
Can
just
I
asking.
answer your question real quick?
Absolutely.
Lars Nootbaar apparently is one of the most sought after people in all of baseball right now.
Okay. Good to know.
So the Blue Jays wanted him really badly, like they to the point to where they didn't. We even want to discuss anybody else. That's who they wanted. According to reports, the A's wanted him. I think the Yankees have. I think the Yankees. There's rumors that they may have made a call about him. He has maybe the most. Look at Baseball Savant. Everything is red, which means good.
Yeah.
That's like the best you can be. No, he's. People think maybe they think Randy Arozarena and they can pull another fast one on us, but I think like he's one of the most projectable players in baseball, and a lot of people maybe thought they could buy low on him, but the Cardinals have the same analytics, so they're like, no, you're gonna have to buy high on him. So no, I don't think they overvalue those guys. I think, well, it's just so weird to me. I think Sean Murphy, when you put it this way, you could have Sean Murphy trade Nootbaar Donovan, or you could have Nootbaar Donovan and Wilson Contreras.
Right.
That probably became clear to the front office of,
Yeah.
well, I'd rather have all 3 of those guys instead of just
Agreed.
Sean Murphy.
Do you also think? It brings me to point number 3 that I've seen, and I think it's a valid point. I'm just not so sure that I agree with it. That the Cardinals should have tried to wait out the A's. Here's the problem when you do that, right? You're going to say what I'm probably going to bring up, so I'm going to step on your answer here, all right? Or were they smart to say, okay, we made the offer, or you made the offer, whatever it was, right? We have to get a catcher. Wilson Contreras is there. If we try to wait out the A's, maybe Contreras signs with the Astros. We end up not the A's pull the deal. Then we're stuck with Tucker Barnhart. No offense to these guys, they're better at every sport than I've ever been at in my life. But do you think that's the deal?
Here's multiple things. One, Dexter Fowler, Brett Cecil, Andrew Miller. I'll just say those 3 names because that's what happened with those 3 guys. When you're Dansby Swanson, Cubs. Also, when one of your options falls off the table, so say they loved Contreras and Murphy, those were 1 and 2. Contreras goes and signs with the Astros because the Cardinals were taking too long. Well, now the asking price for Murphy just went up because they know that's your number one option now, and you don't really have a great fallback plan.
Right.
So now you may have to give up Newbar and Donovan because that's the only other guy you want. And you said to the whole fan base, you're getting a catcher. So I even heard Derek Gould say that Mo made a joke that said, maybe we shouldn't have broadcasted our views so publicly because everyone is holding us for ransom right now
Right.
for what we want. So they went and got Wilson Contreras.
There's something to be said about that.
Here's my biggest problem with the Cardinals always. One, they never set the market. So they're always the one that either overpays or they're just left without anybody.
Correct.
They finally set the market. Great for them. They found a guy that they said, we really like this guy. Maybe he's 1A, maybe he's 1B, 1C of our choices, but we're going to go get him. We're going to get that part done, and we're not going to worry about it anymore. That's what they did with Wilson Contreras. So I'm glad they didn't wait out. Sure, you see the deal, and you're like, well, but it's also a complicated deal. Like, 3-team trades don't come around very often.
No, they're very odd in
being moved in general don't happen very often, but 2-in-1 trade almost never happen, especially two when they're not going to the same teams. Like, they go to different teams. So the deal is very complicated. Mo doesn't get. When was the last time Mo was in a 3-team deal? I don't remember that ever happened.
No, I don't either.
He's like, Mo's a good general manager. I mean, president of baseball operations, not the most creative one in the world. So it's. I don't know what we would have done the same thing they did. And also, if you look at our guys, like, I don't know who's the guy that's Kyle Muller, the number one prospect in the Braves organization. Like, who would that have been for us? So no, I don't think they should have waited about it. I think I'd rather have Contreras because I think he does more for what the Cardinals need right now.
Leading into the Cardinals, do you see another free agent? Obviously, we've talked trades on here. I think that you could. I still think like people are freaking out as if pitchers and catchers report tomorrow, right? Yeah. And honestly, to be fair, Caleb, if they did, which they don't, I'd be okay with this group going into spring training right now. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, we're not competing with the Padres." Well, first of all, the Padres are going to completely eviscerate their market because of what they're doing over there. So are the Mets. Also, to be fair, those two teams have not won shit. So let's relax. The Braves lost Swanson, lost Contreras, picked up Murphy, might trade Max Fried. So let's relax there. The Phillies lost Harper for a while, got Trey Turner. Phillies look great coming off a World Series, but we also know it's really hard for teams to get back to the World Series after they got there. The Dodgers, I love their pitching staff still. When you've got Urias, you've got May, you've got Gonsolin, you've got Buehler. Well, I guess Buehler won't be back for a while, right?
He won't be back at all.
Back for a while. Who am I missing? He
won't be back at all.
You added Syndergaard. Oh, at all. Okay. Syndergaard, and who am I missing? Who's the fifth one that I'm missing there?
Urias, Gonsolin, May, Syndergaard.
I'm missing their number 2. Either way, whatever. We don't have to go through that. But
Gonsolin's their number 2.
No, they had Gonsolin penciled in as their number 4 when I saw it on MLB the other night.
I don't know.
Okay, it's all right. It's all right. It's irrelevant.
Oh, Kershaw.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. So still good. I mean, it's still the Dodgers. They're going to be good, right? They're going to be good.
I don't know. Okay, let's go over who they lost. Hold on.
Cardinals. I don't think that the Cardinals are that far away. So this is a long way for me to get to this question. Do you see them making another free agent move, or do you see them just waiting it out and making 3-part question? Free agent.
Oh my God, get to the question.
Huh? I'm trying.
Get to the question.
You know how my brain works. Free agent question. 2, do you see them making a trade between now and the beginning of the season? Or 3, do you see them standing pat and saying, we're going in it. We've got money to spend come the trade deadline if we need to make a move. But I guess that leads to part 4. If you have money, why aren't you spending it? Go. Sorry about that. That did take me a long fucking time to ask that question.
Are you done?
Sorry.
One, you kind of down.
Brain started with one question, and it just kept going.
Stop. I'm going to forget your questions if you don't shut up. Okay. So, one, you kind of downplayed the Dodgers. They lost both Turners and Bellinger. Like, those 3 massive losses. So, you kind of downplayed how much worse they got this offseason. But to go through the questions, I can try to remember them. One, do they make another free agent signing? I could see them signing a reliever. That's about it. 2, do they make a trade? Possibly, but if it is something, it's gonna be something we don't know, so it's impossible to say.
We're in agreement there.
3, will they go into the season? I don't know. I just told you that. 4, I just told you I don't know if they're standing pat. So that's the same question as 2 and 1, kind of. You just combined them into the third question for some reason.
Different.
It was because if my answers were yes, rather those third questions are relevant.
Free agent trades different.
Yeah, but if my answer is no to both of those, then question 3.
Stop being that guy.
Either way, 4. What was 4? What was 4?
Yeah, fuck off.
You asked 4 questions. What was 4?
I did. You're a fucking journalism major at the University of Illinois. You should be able to remember 4 questions, dude.
That's not what journalism is about. What is for?
If they've got the money, why aren't they spending it?
Because you should never just spend money to spend money.
Not arguing. I'm just saying, why are we not, like, we also shouldn't just let money sit there.
Can I ask you a question? Who would you have spent this money on?
Well, there's two. I would have, okay, if it were me.
Don't say in the top 3 shortstops.
No, I wouldn't have. I would have gone and gotten Chris Bassitt or Rodon. I don't like the deals, and
those are two very different players.
I get it, but I'm talking one of the two. Like, that's where I would have spent the money. Is you and I have said it on here for 3 years now. All right, we've said it. We can't. I don't know how many times else I can say it. You need a guy to slot ahead of Jack or a guy behind Jack. You don't have to go get DeGrom, Verlander. You don't have to do that. Okay. Honestly, I found the stats that we talked about last week. They were all fucking terrible in the playoffs. They were. Okay. But I still believe in the fact that you need a one. I hate the word ace because they're so rare, but you need a guy either with Jack or in front of him or behind him. That's what I would say. So even though I said 20 minutes ago I wouldn't give Rodon 6 years, it's not my money. I wouldn't probably do it. But man, if I'm the Cardinals, that is a piece that they have desperately been missing. Both, especially Rodon. Bassitt also swing and miss guy, but not like Rodon.
He's not a swing and miss guy.
I think his K per 9 is 8 something.
I mean,
so that's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
We talk on here a lot about they're a free agent, right? Which means they're free to do as they please, correct?
No, you're right.
Oh, no. I'm making a point. He's free to do as he wants, Carlos Rodon. He wanted to be a Yankee, widely talked about. So maybe the Cardinals did want to bring Rodon in, but maybe they couldn't bring Rodon in. He's a free agent. Like, if I'm a free agent, and maybe, like me personally, I'm a Cardinal fan. Maybe I want to go be a Cardinal. And maybe the Cardinals say, okay, we'll match that offer. And then he says, well, no, like, I want to be a Yankee. Or, and here's the thing that bothers me even more, is you look at the offer, 6 years, 162. And as a fan, you say, well, why did the Cardinals give him that? They could have paid that. It's only 25 a year, 27 a year, something like that. Oh, why the Cardinals? Why weren't they in on that? Well, say the Cardinals go to him and say, well, okay, fine, 6 years, 170. Does that mean the Yankees stop bidding at 162?
No. Of course
not. So what I'm saying is, I don't know if Rodon was attainable. I think he wanted to be a Yankee. That was
all I'm saying is, I guess what I'm saying is, so I was using Rodon because he was there. Because, like I said 20 minutes ago, don't get me wrong. I knew they weren't going to sign him. Okay, so let me be fair there. I wouldn't have given him 6 years. So let me be fair there. What I'm saying is then, I'm hoping that there is a market, maybe via trade. I will still stick to the fact that if there's one thing the Cardinals desperately need, stop saying the left-handed bat, people. We got the guy. He's there. Play him as many times as you can fucking play him. All right, play him. Play Nolan.
We got three of them. We got three of them.
That's all I can say. But I still believe that for this team, and I know, and I'm kind of countering my own argument here when I've said, well, pitching wasn't our problem. I understand that, but a healthy Jack and another guy just makes this team even better. That's all I'm saying. That's if Miles Mikolas is your number 3, I'm very, very happy. I don't love Miles Mikolas as your number 2. That's all I'm gonna say.
Here's what I think. I think they're in a great. People don't want to hear this, so if you're one of the people that are screaming on Twitter that, hey, we really need to go do something else right now, this is pathetic, please ear plug just for a second, because you're not going to hate what I'm about to say. They are in a unique situation because of the division that they play in, that they have time to go see what they have.
Right.
They have time to see if their outfield plays itself out. They have time to see if Gorman can be the guy. They have time to see if Jack Flaherty is going to be good, if Match is going to be good, if Mikolas, Waino, Monty, if those guys are going to be good. Maybe one of them steps up and they are a number 1 next year. Maybe that happens. They have time to wait until August, more so than maybe any other team in baseball. Because one, they're extremely fucking talented. People keep forgetting this. The Cardinals are one of the most talented teams in baseball from a depth standpoint. 2, they're head and shoulders above everybody else in the division. No one's even close to them. Like, the Brewers are a fine, good team. They're not close. So they've got time to know that, hey, we're going to let this play out a little bit. We're going to see what we have. We're not going to make any rash decisions. And if they need someone at the deadline, they've got a shit ton of weapons to go get one. And then they're going to have a better idea of who they have and what their team's like. What if Jack is an ace next year? And they find that out in the first 3 months that he is an ace. And then they say, hey, well, now we don't need to trade Burleson, Carlson, Gorman, because now we have all those guys. So
Right.
they have a unique opportunity to say, and I normally wouldn't say this, but because I think their team is as way better than I think a lot of people think their team is, they have an opportunity to go and say, we're probably going to be in first place. Maybe we'll be a game out. Someone's going to get hot by the deadline, but we have an opportunity to see what we have. And the only way this works for me is if they're willing to be aggressive in season. If they're not willing to be aggressive in season, then no, go make a move now.
Right.
But if you see how it plays out and then be aggressive in season, then fine, go do that. Go see what you have and then be willing to adjust in season.
Cardinals Twitter is going to like kick you out. You know that for you saying
that's
that.
Fine. I mean, that's fine. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I just want to let you know. I just want you to know that will happen. Just to talk about the Cardinals, we've
well, hold on. What was your opinion on what I said?
No, I agree. I agree, and I've said all along that I think I still sort of believe that there could be a trade that happens. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is, but I do kind of in my heart of hearts believe that there could be a trade coming. That's all I'm saying. I don't know.
And here's also the thing: like, what happens if the Rays or the Guardians get off to really bad starts, and then a guy like Bieber or Glasnow becomes available? That's exactly the guy you need. So if those guys aren't available and those guys that really upgrade your team aren't out there right now, don't just go make a move to make a move. You need to make one of substance.
More so the Rays than the Guardians, because we've seen the Guardians got off to a pretty slow start this year.
I'm not saying that the Guardians are going to do that. I'm just saying there are teams out there that could end up struggling. The White Sox, like of last year, well, if they get out to another slow start, and Lance Lynn's available, and that could really help you out.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
Things like that can happen.
Yep. And I also think it's going to be hard to make a trade, maybe, unless, like you and I have said, that there's somebody available that we have no idea and did not see coming. I think that's
which is always possible.
That's an idea. We've gone through Cardinals outfield. We dug into that pretty deep. We dug into their starting pitching pretty deep. The infield we wanted to hit on a little bit in their catcher spot. Next time, I think we'll hit on their relievers a little bit because we're kind of waiting to see if maybe there's another move there over the holidays or whatever. But catching, I mean, obviously Contreras is going to catch 100 games, right? I think we both are in agreement in that area. Kisner is your backup as of right now.
Yep.
I think it's great for Correa to get another year or at least another half a year. If he goes down and dominates at AAA, then maybe you have a question. But I also don't believe you're going to bring up a 22, 23-year-old to be a backup when you sign Contreras, which means I think for them to start him at AAA and get as much exposure, I'm not saying we're going to trade him, but I am saying that is one of those, the little pieces that you've got that you're accumulating to potentially add somebody. Correa has to be one of those guys. Do you agree?
Yeah, Herrera. Yeah, sure. He's a guy that you have a couple options with. One, he should be in AAA all year, in my opinion. There's no reason to bring him up unless Contreras gets hurt.
Unless there's an injury.
Knock on wood. Unless Contreras is injured, there's no reason to bring him up. He needed more time. I don't know what his future is. People are saying, by the way, Contreras is going to try and catch 120 games, and that it was not. And that he said that it was not his decision to catch as little as he did.
Which, by the way, you and I have said on here many times.
Yeah. So I believe he can do it. He's in great shape. He'll be fine. So I don't know. Correa is interesting. He's a guy you could definitely trade if you need to, and someone really likes him. He's not a guy I'd just throw into a package just cause, but he's a guy that if someone's like, hey, we really like this guy, here's something you need now, maybe a good reliever. That's something you could be able to do. Or he's just a guy that says, hey, we don't know how long Contreras is going to be able to catch 120 games. So, and we believe Herrera is going to be a guy that can split time with him, and Contreras can DH the other, however many games. That's something that can happen as well. So I don't know where Herrera is going to stand. It's going to depend on his development, but we know he needs to develop more.
Yep, and I think also you and I've talked, like if you want, and it depends what happens with Yepez. Is that how you told me I should be pronouncing this now? Yepez?
That's what I've heard, but I don't know. I think either one's acceptable.
Can you get a hold of his dad? Like you and him are pretty close.
I could, but I don't know how to text him and tell him, hey, how do I say your name? Because he's going to be texting me, and I'm just going to read it the same.
Well, yeah, like can you say it and record it? I'm not going to make his.
What's
his Jose?
Omar.
Can you say
Omar. That was kind of racist.
It wasn't at all. I really did think his name. I'm sorry, Omar. If you could say Omar, can you record the saying of your name?
I won't do that.
Please, for the show.
No, I won't.
Okay.
Anyway, why are we on Juan Yepez? Why did we get to?
Well, my point was, I think we also believe that Contreras can play some first base if you want Goldie to DH.
He can play outfield too. Like he's got options.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm putting.
I'm just saying you could get him out there for one game. It'd be fine.
So we were going to get to the infield. There's not much really to talk about the infield. You got the best third baseman in the league at third base. You got the Gold Glove, or I mean MVP at first base. Those are there, and we know that as of now, right? Unless there's something really weird that happens, Tommy Edman, what was he the highest ranked defensive shortstop in baseball this year? I believe.
Oh, he was behind Swanson.
Even though he didn't win the
behind Swanson.
Yeah. Okay. So he was number 2. Okay. Donovan, Gold Glover, is going to play second, and you got Gorman. So you've got options if you want to move Donovan to the outfield. You and I have talked about Gorman maybe being in the outfield, and then you've got Yepez or Yepez. You've got him. He's only going to play first, like on the infield. The probably, in my opinion, it's hard to argue the best infield in Major League Baseball. And so I don't think there's much for us to dig in here. There's not a lot of competition. I mean, except unless you're going to put Gorman there, which is there's some flexibility there. But I mean, what you're rolling out there with Nolan, Tommy, Brendan, and Goldie, that's as good as it gets defensively.
Here's what I think. One, you got your horses, third and first base. They're there every day. Knock on wood, no injuries, but they're as consistent at being able to play 150 games as anybody in baseball.
Correct.
And then you go to the middle. It's Tommy at shortstop. So I'm honestly considering him one of those horses as well. He's there every day.
Yeah, I think you have to.
So we'll go to second base. It's interesting, right? So a lot of people are worried about the outfield, right? There's worries about that. If that happens, if maybe Walker's not quite ready, and what if Carlson or O'Neill struggles / gets hurt or whatever it is, or Newt, you can put Donovan in the outfield, and then you can put Gorman there, and then you got Yepez who can DH. They've got so many options. They're so deep everywhere. I don't get the worry about offense. I think they've got a great defense. I mean, a great offense. They've won the best in baseball, in my opinion. And I think honestly, I think the ceiling of that is the best in baseball. Yeah. The ceiling of this team's offense is the best. In terms of the best in baseball, best defensive, yes, I would say. Best all around, I think the Astros could give you a run for that, but probably the best. Just because Goldie and Nolan are so far ahead of what anyone else has at first and third base. And we'll see what the Braves do. I would have said them with Swanson, but now I don't.
I mean, when you've got Olsen
and
Riley on the corners, that's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that's pretty strong. And then Ozzie at
second. And you got Albies at second. That's also pretty fucking good.
Yeah, and then we'll see what Vaughn Grissom / RCA
we saw last year. Like, that's an argument, right? Especially offensively.
Yeah, but I think I think the infield, there's not a ton to talk about because you kind of know what you got.
Right, agreed.
Like, I think I would like them to play Gorman at second base a decent amount and let Brendan Donovan be able to use his versatility to give guys days off, to give guys an outfield and first and third. If you want to like DH Goldie, DH Nolan, I like to see them use Gorman at second base to let Donovan have the capability to move around like he should be able to. But I think they've got a really good infield. Like I like it.
Yeah, agreed.
They have. I mean, all of them have a lot of upside. I ran into this. This isn't necessarily infield, more of a whole team thing. But I think the guy that might have the lowest OPS / WRC plus on the team, the entire offense, starting every day, is going to be Tommy Edman.
Yeah.
Who's one of the most valuable players in all of baseball.
He's going to hit ninth, where we've said defense. For 2 years when a DH comes.
That's what I'm saying. How good of
best 9 hitter in base?
How many teams would kill to be in this position?
Yeah, I agree. I think we're in agreement here. And here's the thing: whenever I say this I've kind of stayed away from Twitter a little bit lately, just because it gives me a headache. And I understand you have to fill time. You know, you're a fan. I love that, by the way. I love the fan. It's short for fanatic. I love it. But some of the things that are said just give me let's just you and I both very logical people most times. Now, when you see us in the stands, we're not very logical. We're screaming things we should probably never be screaming around other humans. But that's different, right? But I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, I'll piggyback because I know where you were going a little bit. Here's what I'll say. Just because the Cardinals aren't making the crazy jaw-dropping pass and bomb moves does not mean that you should feel any worse about the team that they've already constructed, which is a really damn good team, which is a team that won 93 games last year without Carlson being Carlson, without O'Neill being O'Neill, without Jack Flaherty for 75%.
Correct.
Without Gorman being up for a decent part of the year, without Donovan being Donovan.
Starting pitchers for a long time, by the way. Let's not forget that.
Without Wilson fucking Contreras catching for you.
Right.
Like, they've gotten significantly better by making one move. And like I said, if you have a team, I think if you're a general manager, what you dream of is being able to go into the offseason saying, we've got this core and we just have to add here or there for it. And the fact that Mosaic went into the offseason with this core and said, I'm going to go get Wilson Contreras to add to this core. And people are upset. I get that you want breaking news. Cardinals sign Carlos
Yes.
Correa. Oh my God, we're the talk of MLB Network for a week and a half. I get it, but that doesn't mean that our team is any worse because they don't do
No,
that. That's
I
not what
agree.
that means.
Thank you for finishing my thought, by the way. I
Yeah.
literally got going and then forgot.
Yeah, it happens.
All right. So before we get to the mailbag, just a couple things. One, while you're watching, first of all, thank you. We greatly appreciate you guys. You have really we're starting to see some really cool stuff happen with the pod. So thank you. That's you guys. But while you're watching, we still would love you to hit the subscribe button. It's free. The holidays are here. Let's make everybody happy. That's all you do. Hit that little red button, subscribe. We appreciate it. The comments have been coming fast and furious. It's hard for me to keep up. So we will get to some of those. But again, we want to take a minute and thank you guys. We are going to take next week off with the holidays. So we won't be doing a pod unless, obviously, if something weird happens. Like, that's pretty rare for the Cardinals and with baseball as a whole. Now with the this week of Christmas and you have Hanukkah going on and, you know, we have all Kwanzaa. Like, it's all happening. So it's going to be odd. But if something breaks, we'll obviously change that. But I think we're going to at least take 1 week off, correct? I'm correct.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay. But again, thank you. Hit subscribe. We still would love to hear the comments. We love those. The emails have been great. So thank you. All right. Anything else you want to hit on with the Cardinals before we get to the mailbag and get out of here and start celebrating the holidays?
My last thing would just be relax and like your team.
Yeah.
It's your team.
Yeah.
This is your team.
I'm really excited about it. I'm not going to lie. I'm really excited about what's coming up. And
okay. Like what I'm saying, this is your team. This is your team. It's a really good team. Everybody I've heard come on radio shows, come on, tweet out about it. Anyone I've heard outside of St. Louis says that they think this is a really good team that can compete with anybody. So the fact that you're a fan of this team and you're forcing yourself not to believe it, I don't understand it. They're really good. I get you as an offer.
Agreed.
We've been on that forever. We always want them to do more. You should. You're a fan. That's what you should want. But that doesn't mean that the players on the team are worse because they're not doing more. So that's what I'll say.
Agreed. All right. Let's get to YouTube and let's get to a little Twitter and a little Facebook action and we'll get out of here. All right. And I'll read these. You can respond. Okay. Sorry, this one's on me.
You didn't have him pulled up?
No, I did, but I did something wrong. Okay. All right. The question was, is the Cardinals starting pitching good enough? Right. That was the title of our last pod. So from Nick Elliott here, no, absolutely not. They have too many question marks in the rotation. They missed on 2 solid pitchers at $15 million per. Both went to the Mets. That is the going rate for a mid-rotation free agent starter. Now, we just talked about, I don't believe we need a mid-rotation. I think we have those guys, right? I think we have mid-rotation starters. The Cardinals front office, the Cardinals knew they needed a reliable starter to add to the massive questionable starters on the roster. Hey, every team has questions. We're not arguing there, right? We have Wainwright in his last year and have to hope that he doesn't fade again like last year. There's a lot more, but I'm not going to go on to it. But they need a couple of reliable innings eaters, and now the only option is a trade. So I don't want to hear how we can't part with some prospects. Thoughts?
I don't know if that was one question or what just happened.
No, it's a big thing. I skipped some.
Okay, yeah. They do have a lot of questions in their rotation, no doubt. A lot of injury concerns in their rotation with all five of them. So I can't really argue that point. They do have question marks. Does that mean that they needed to go? I mean, Quintana is probably what he's talking about. Yeah, I think they should have been in on him at $13 million probably, but I don't think Quintana / Senga / I don't know how much they really upgrade your team. I don't know. I think if they're going to go get a starter, they really need to go get one that changes the direction of their team, not just to do that. I don't think they're going to start the year with 8 starters. Like, that makes any sense.
We got some really nice comments, by the way, this week. A lot of new subscribers. We're really, really cool. Rich Whiteman, shout out, Rich. I'm new to you guys. I love the conversation. The friendly banter is hilarious and fun to listen to. Subscribe, go Cards. That's what we thank you.
Yeah,
thank you for hitting that little red button, but also thank you for tuning in. And we agree, go Cards, right? Okay, favorite fucking comment of all time. Of all time. Like, there's some really
oh my
nice,
God, get to it. My goodness.
Hold on. Ryan Graber, thank you, buddy. Absolutely love this podcast. We love you. Thank you. Appreciate that. We got a couple new ones on. I got a really nice message from a guy on Twitter today that said, hey, just found your podcast. Hey, you guys are very knowledgeable. Love the banter. It's hilarious. Thank you. So thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Should
thank
know
you.
his name. Don't have that pulled up right now, but we appreciate whoever sent that to Charlie. It was Charlie. Thank you, Charlie. We appreciate that. This is the greatest fucking comment of all time, and it is the best of all time.
My goodness, just get to the comment.
From Nintendo 64 with an 8, like Nate Indo.
Get to the fucking comment, or I'm going to end the podcast.
First time seeing you guys. I enjoyed the convo because it reminded me of me and my stepdad talking about the game. Awesome. Like, I grew up talking with my pop about the game all the time, even though he always said he called John Mabry John Mayberry. That's a whole nother thing, right? He was who got me into baseball fandom. He's been gone 8 years now. Sorry about that. RIP. Sounds like that was awesome that he got you into baseball. So very, very cool. Very, very cool. He's been gone 8 years now, and I wish that we could argue about the value of a Contreras, Gorman, O'Neill, Flaherty, Old Man Wainwright, or whatever else is currently happening with the Cardinals. We love this. This is what you and I have been doing this for years, right? You and I have been doing this for years, the arguing and the talking about baseball. I don't know your dynamic, but Caleb, if you're seeing this, here it is, greatest comment of all time. Show your dad a little bit more respect. You'll regret how you talked to him when you were young, further on down the road. Not trying to start anything, just speaking from experience. Nate, fucking preach, brother. I've been telling this man across from me to show me some goddamn respect for 20 years, and this is what I get every day. Greatest comment of all time.
No, it wasn't the greatest. I mean, first up, the first half was. I don't want to say anything about the comment. The second half, because the first half, obviously, rest in peace to your stepfather.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I disrespect you. I don't know if that's a well-known fact that I do. It's just our dynamics. Obviously, that's the point of the podcast. I think if we had a dynamic where it was like the 1950s, where I was kind of like, yes, sir, please, sir, can I have some more that?
Why can we not do that?
Because that'd be boring as shit, and nobody would watch it.
See, there it is, right there. There it is. That's the difference.
Well, don't ask stupid questions if you want to be respected. That comment, just so you guys know, none of us, we both say shit to each other. It's not taken personally, either of us. So when we do that, no, we don't hold grudges for weeks at a time. We don't get pissed off. Well, we do get mad at each other sometimes, but it's not that's just not how it is. It's more like a friendly relationship than it is a father-son in the 1980s.
Correct.
So that's what it is.
But when you're done here, I do need you to clean up the room that you're in now.
Get to the end.
All right. All right, Larry Lovelace. It is. Sorry, Larry, about that. By the way, I was gonna get right 2 years and then stepped on it, so I apologize. Larry Lovelace. It is obvious the Cards do not have enough starting pitching. Edmund will play shortstop and cannot give up yet on Carlson O'Neill. We are, by the way, fully in agreement, 100%. The starting pitching is so iffy and injury prone with Matz, Michaelis, Waino, Montgomery, and Flaherty. They do not cut it. The Cards passed on Quintana. We've talked about Quintana. Adding Quintana just adds another guy. I get it. I understand it. He was great for us. Thank you, Jose Quintana. But he doesn't fulfill the need that I believe the Cardinals have, which is a number 1 or a number 2 guy.
Can we get to the first part of his question? I think that's the more important part of the question. To say that they don't cut it is inaccurate. The only concerns around those guys should be injury related. But those are fair. But all 5 of them very much so are valuable, good starting pitchers in Major League Baseball. They are that.
Yeah,
they are serviceable, very good, can give you a chance every 5th day. All 5. So to say they can't cut it, that just doesn't make any sense to me. They can. All 5 of these guys, if they're on the trade block, somebody would want them. Somebody good would want all 5.
Yep.
So except for maybe Wainwright, but that's a different story. I don't understand. I think people get confused by not having as good of a rotation as other teams and having a bad rotation. That doesn't equate to me. No, they don't have the Cole Rodon 1-2 punch, the Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, but they don't have a bad rotation. No one in their rotation is bad. I don't think, at least.
I agree.
It's not like Dak Hudson last year where he was really bad for a while. They don't really have a guy like that right now, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. I'm really bad at some of this, by the way. I should be better with.
You want to just do one more?
Huh?
Want to just do one more?
Yeah, one more. If I could find it, it would be great, though. I had a really good one, and I'm really bad at it. I had it
Just
pulled up.
take
And then it just went
screenshots.
away. I don't know. I'm sorry. Anyway, oh, here we go. Here we go. From Mitch Delaney. Mitch, by the way, he's been commenting on a lot of our stuff on Facebook, so we appreciate you, Mitch. Thank you so much. Just found your podcast. Nice. Really, guys, a bit more of my take than all of the other ones out there. So I appreciate that. I think sometimes my reading ability is not that great.
Okay, well, you guys, because
So
you
we know what
stop
he's trying
halfway
to say.
through every time.
He agrees with us, is what he's saying. So shout out, Mitch. I differ on starting rotation. As a manager and former player, the Cards have 4 holes next year. Shout out, also former manager and former player. At least 2 of those need to be filled internally. Hence why I would not sign a starting pitcher until All-Star break. So we just talked about that. You know what I mean? And he's talking about Connor Thomas in here, but we do appreciate everything. I'm not going to read the whole thing. He wrote a lot, but Mitch has been a big person on here's commenting. Thank you. Sorry, I should be better at this. I really should. I'm getting there.
I guess we can say something about Connor Thomas. Thanks for the nice comment. Connor Thomas, he's interesting. I hope they start him in AAA and see if that cutter he got that's kind of led to his success is real, and see what he's like in AAA. They're going to need guys down there anyway, but he's just more depth for the team. I think this team has more depth at the starting pitching wise than they've had in a long time. So hopefully we won't see that dreaded June, July. Oh shit, we have 3 bodies and 2 guys that just can't cut it. That's no offense to Palante. I just don't think his arm was ready for the workload he got.
Right.
But yeah, they've got a lot of depth. I think their rotation is going to be fine. I think the only thing they're missing is the guy that can go out there and compete with the Verlanders, Scherzers of the world. That's the only thing they're missing, in my opinion. This entire roster, really. So we'll see if they can find one of them. But I think other than that, their rotation's fine. It's fine. Yep. It's not bad. It's not great. It's fine.
Yep. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I'm sorry I didn't get to everybody. As you can see, I'm still learning how to manipulate.
Maybe I should do it. I should do it.
No, because you would pick and choose. You would not have read Nate's. You would not have read Nate's comment.
Yeah.
You would have cherry picked that thing right out of there, and that needed to be read on here. So there was no need for that. That's why you're not in charge of that. Right there. That reason alone is why you're not in charge. Anyway, listen. Thank you guys so much. Again, we would greatly appreciate you. You can find us on Twitter. Give us a follow. You can find us on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. Obviously on YouTube. Please subscribe. It really does help us out. We're in the middle of setting out and starting to talk and negotiate with some sponsors. So the more subscribers we have, the better. We're trying to make to where we can get even better content, better production, better everything for the pod. That's kind of where we want to head with this. So that's because of you guys. So thank you very much. I'll end it right here. Caleb, you got anything you need to say?
No, I'm good.
That's what I figured. Everybody, listen. For the next couple of weeks, have an amazing holidays. No matter what it is you celebrate, hopefully you get some time to unwind. You get time to spend with the family. You get to be with the loved ones. Whatever. If you don't have that in your life and you want to reach out to us, you know where to find us. We'd be glad to do whatever we can to help. All right, whatever we can. So be nice to everybody. Be kind. Stay safe. Take care of each other. We will talk to you soon. Have an amazing holidays. Cheers.